What's up everyone, welcome back to ARTV. It is time for a Patreon supported throwback review. That's right, I'm finally talking about the Shins in the form of their debut album that came out in 2001, Oh Inverted World. Thank you so much to my patron Tico that made this possible. James Mercer is the only original member of the Shins that is left at this point in their career, but at this time in the Shins with their debut album, things were just totally and vastly different. The indie scene was still budding and coming into its own, at least in terms of mainstream success, and many people fell in love with the Shins because of Oh Inverted World. A lot of people also discovered them because of the 2004 cult classic film that you have to see if you haven't seen it already, Garden State.
What are you listening to?
The Shins. You know them?
Zach Braff will always be a favorite of mine. He starred in and wrote Garden State, and he also selected music for the soundtrack, not only there, but also on his show Scrubs that initially exposed me to Braff in the first place. And on the Garden State soundtrack, there were two songs, Caring is Creepy, and of course, New Slang, which is a song that I feel so sentimental and nostalgic for. I just have a feeling of peace that comes over me because it is one of those songs that applies to me more so now than ever before because I'm coming into my late 20s and that's what Mercer said he wrote the song all about. So it's a little bit scary, a little bit creepy, if you will, at the same time, but I'm also there where it just feels right. Oh Inverted World is considered an indie classic at this point, and for good reason. Coming back to this album, I found so many things to love about it, so let's start digging in. I think the best thing that Oh Inverted World has going for it is the fact that it had no expectations. It wasn't trying to be bigger than life itself. It was taking these small scenarios and then kind of wording them a little bit oddly sometimes, the way that Mercer phrased things, but I like that there were metaphors packed in there and also some things that I still to this day just do not entirely understand, and I don't think it's meant to be comprehended maybe by anyone other than Mercer himself. It's not something that's confusing to listen to. In fact, you can just tap your foot along, hum along to these tracks. Everything from Caring is Creepy to some of the other tunes like the slower Weird Divide, and also the amazing Pressed in a Book that remains my favorite to this day. There's a synthetic touch to this LP too. It's something where they combine synthesizers with acoustic guitars, some electrics as well, some kind of low in the mix bass lines that I feel suit this album quite well, and also some just kind of peppy drumming, something that keeps it consistent. And this album is kind of skeletal in a way. It's, like I said, not trying to be this huge beast. It's just an album that goes down smooth, 11 tracks in 33 minutes. James Mercer's lyrical content is one of the biggest wins for me on Oh Inverted World. It's something where he can go from commentating and telling a different perspective on things, perhaps a boy that's struggling with being bullied, perhaps looking into himself, or maybe he's writing about somebody else in his life, a nephew, or maybe just a friend's child, and it seems like he's coming at it with those new, fresh eyes that still have some innocence to them. He can approach that, but he can also talk about life and other things that are changing and relationships that are falling apart. Prime example, the incredible closing track on this record, The Past and Pending. They occasionally wander off the straight and narrow. There's a few moments where I feel like they're stalling out, but those moments are never held over us for too long because it's 33 minutes. Like I said, it's a very compact disc, if you will. I shouldn't be making CD jokes. Do you guys even know what CDs are? That was a joke too, I promise. Breaking into the track list here, let's start with something that's a little bit weird. We have this song that comes towards the end of this record. It's called Your Algebra, that is backed by a haunting cello and also some lyrics that seem like they're trying to give advice, perhaps to a younger person, and it seems like maybe they're not heeding said advice, and I like the way that this song doesn't feel overbearing. It's pretty short, and it doesn't really linger with too many words, but the words that it does say, it says them quite well. There's other songs that I feel are extremely potent here. I obviously think New Slang is one of the best songs of the 2000s. It's a song that means a lot to me. Caring is Creepy has some incredible guitars on it, and I just love that kind of buzzing feel that you get to it. It feels like you're flying, and you're flying into fall, I suppose. It starts off like a summer record, and then quickly takes you into fall, especially by the end when it's talking about autumn and the relationship changing on the past and pending. Know Your Onion is the song I was talking about that seemingly comes from a younger boy's perspective. It comes at it with those fresh eyes, but also seemingly while it has a playful feel and agility to it, it seems like it's a little bit aware of a pre-existing problem there as well, and I just love the musicality of the track. A song that I don't care for as much would be Weird Divide. I think it's probably my least favorite on this short LP. It's a track that feels like it's not really doing anything all that special, especially musically. It just kind of loses me, and I feel like this is the part of the record where I start to zone out a little bit. Coming in at a close second in terms of favorites on this album, we have the song Girl Inform Me, which I love and I related to for a long time back in the day. It seemed like nobody understood, and I would try to talk to women and it would just be like, I have no idea what I'm doing, do I? And this song is the exemplary personification of that. And I love Mercer's vocal fluctuations here, along with the kind of jazzy drumming that's just kind of slowly tapping on those cymbals in the background, and the guitars that are kind of stuttered as well. Everything about this track is perfect. Pressed in a Book is still the best song on this album. Don't at me. This is a song that is so fun to listen to. It just truly feels like you're marching through the streets celebrating something, but I'm not exactly sure what. It just has that appeal and allure musically. You're drawn to it and want to play it again and again, and it holds up all these years later as one of the best songs that I feel the Shins have ever made. James Mercer and the Shins were at their best, in my opinion, on the debut album O Inverted World and the album that followed, Shoots Too Narrow. This project in particular is outstanding. I'm so glad that I had an excuse to go back and revisit this record, spend a lot of time with it, because at first I wasn't quite there with just truly getting back into it. I listened to this record a lot in the end of my high school days, but this album still means a lot to me to this day. And overall, for me personally, this gets a strong 4.5 out of 5. What do you guys think of O Inverted World? If you haven't heard it in a while, then click the link in the description to stream it and give it a spin for yourself. And if you've never heard it, then you're missing out. Change that. Please leave a like on this video to let me know that you're enjoying the throwbacks. I'll have another one on the way very, very soon. If you're new in town, then please hit that subscribe button. If you're able to, then please donate on Patreon and you can get a request done like the one that I did today. It's the top link down below or else the annotation in the corner. I'll see you soon for more on ARTV.